The really big story today, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals refusing to reinstate President Donald Trump's travel ban for 7 predominantly Muslim countries.
Now, the fight is not over yet. A lot of people watching this very closely, including people in the tech industry.
Yeah, Matt Day, business reporter for our partner, the Seattle Times, here this morning. You've been writing a lot about this. Good morning. So start at the beginning here. All of these companies really responding almost immediately after the president signing this order.
Yeah, it was pretty much within 24, 48 hours. A lot of companies came out against it locally. Amazon raised concerns. Microsoft did. The tech industry as a whole uses a lot more international workers than a lot of other industries, right? They're sort of drawing the best and the brightest from around the world. And so they had sort of immediate worries about their own employees and what this might mean going forward.
You've spoken with some of these workers. What are they saying about this?
The ones who are affected now, who can't go home, can't see loved ones, that's immediately worrying, right? Some of them are rethinking their long-term plans to stay in the States because if they can't guarantee that their family can visit for a wedding or just that kind of basic thing, why not move to Canada?
Well, let's be as honest as we can about this. Let's say that we do ban these employees and they can't work for the tech companies here in the U.S. What could it mean for Microsoft, for Amazon? Would it really hurt the bottom line? Could it hurt our economy? What could it actually mean?
For them, they have a lot more flexibility. They have offices all around the world, and if this gets ugly in a way that immediately restricts their ability to take folks into the United States, they'll likely locate them abroad, Singapore, offices in London, that kind of thing. Of course, that would hurt our economy. Right.
And specifically, in what ways will that hurt our economy?
Well, if you've got a software engineer making $180,000 and spending that money in the economy, all that
Sure.
stuff tends to filter out. Microsoft, obviously, they're talking their own book in this, but they say, for every worker they have supports something like 6 or 7 other employees in Washington State. Those kind of claims about just sort of the economic impact of those high-paying jobs.
Is there a danger here for these companies to be too outspoken? Donald Trump has made it very clear that he takes some of this personally sometimes. Defending his daughter when Nordstrom pulled their products, for example. If they're really vocal and he revamps the visa program, for example, I mean, it's not unconceivable or inconceivable he could punish tech companies because they're standing up in response to this. Is there any fear there?
Well, certainly, and plenty of these companies have large government contracts, sort of the same way Carrier's parent company did in that deal. That would give them pause. And so I think there is a bit of caution. People don't want to stand out as being the most aggressive on this. So you've kind of seen in the immediate aftermath of Trump's order and the days that followed, the rhetoric ratcheted up a little bit. One was looking at the other sort of over their shoulder to see what the standard was going to be.
In addition to the concern over any potential response from the administration, I would imagine some of these companies are having to consider the impact that taking a stance has on their customers. Have you heard anything about that impact and what that could mean? Because I would imagine that there are people who are in support of the ban and are in support of the Trump administration's stance on it, and now they have companies that are coming out against it. How is that impacting their bottom line?
Right. Well, it's a little bit different in big tech than Starbucks, for example.
Sure.
Got some blowback from there, pledged to hire refugees. But these companies, with the exception of folks like Apple, they don't sell a lot of direct goods to consumers, right? And you're not going to boycott your Gmail. You're not going to turn off Microsoft Word because of this. And there might be some of that, but I think they have a little bit less to lose in terms of consumers that buy their products every day than some other companies do.
Is there a middle ground here when it comes to both the travel ban and then what we could be looking at when it comes to if we revamp the visa system? Is there something that could make the Trump administration happy and Trump supporters happy and make the tech companies happy, or is somebody going to be unhappy here?
I think there is, and part of it is we don't know what details will come from the Trump administration on visa reform in particular, but there are several sort of quote common sense reforms that tech companies have advocated for quite a while that would allow them to bring in more workers, and I think there's an element of folks in the Trump administration who be for those kind of reforms.
We'll keep an eye on it. Matt Day from the Seattle Times, thank you for your perspective.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.